Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of About the Green, a series in which we take New Zealand finance professionals out on the golf course. We talk all things business, all things finance and lending, and we see how their golf game goes. And if you've ever thought about purchasing or buying or selling a business, then this episode is for you, and you need to listen up because we're lucky enough to have Hamish Dorrington along from Kakapo Business.
That's
Welcome,
the one.
mate.
How you going, guys?
We're up to the first tee here, which looks like a par 5, is it?
It's par 5, yep. We're going to be putting one hopefully smack bang in the middle of the fairway, mate. This is going to be a real lucky dip here.
Yeah, two practice swings, eh?
Yeah.
Before we step up.
Oh,
You don't want to be there?
it's not where you want to be.
Oh, cool. So it's going to hit that net.
Yep. It could work out. It should sit down. Soft bounce. That water should
Yeah, it's caught it, eh?
Yeah.
That was very lucky.
That's an absolute dream.
One thing, maybe you could just run me through what Kakapo is, because we've talked about your experience, but how does Kakapo come into the business market?
Yeah, so we're quite a new brokerage in terms of, the wider landscape. You've got the likes of the big ones like Link and ABC who are, they're nationwide as we are as well, but lots of different brokers in different areas. And so James, my director, he actually started Kakapo. It was his brainchild. This was about 8 years ago now. He had been with a big agency and, he had a lot of plans and things that he wanted to do and that really excited him, and just felt that, there was always an element of control above. So branching out and doing his own thing was sort of what made sense to him. And, it was a big nervous risk, I imagine, but, here we are and we all love it. We're part of a great team, and, it's, I don't want to say like a family because, but we get along really well.
And so obviously in the business world, from my experience, the economy is not amazing right now. So would you say it's more of a buyer's or a seller's market at the moment?
At the moment, it's definitely a seller's market from where we stand. What we were seeing last year was sort of neither really. It was businesses, for a buyer to be comfortable and to get confident with the business in such uncertain times, it had to be quite perfect. And the catch was that nothing in those times was. So you're sort of fighting, both sides of the equation, and we're quite tricky. And that, once we saw those rate cuts, that quite quickly changed, and it indicated that spending was going to get cheaper. More rate drop forecast ahead. Mm-hmm. So it just created a lot of positivity in the market, and we started to see a huge amount of new buyers come
this
to
year?
us and start looking at businesses.
Okay.
And at the same time, we were, starting to see some businesses in certain industries have, good summers, a bit of sales picking up. So that, that sort of started a bit of a accumulating effect in the market, and we sort of see a number of really good years ahead.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hospitality is getting hit right now, right? Because most of the money that people were spending, like disposable income,
Yep.
were spending in the economy, is now sucked into mortgage repayments. So they can't use that money anymore because it's $200-300 per fortnight more over the last, couple of years.
Exactly,
that they've been
mate.
putting into mortgages.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Look at the two different shots at that. That was wicked.
Oh, it's going to be right on.
It's going to be, oh, you hit my ball.
There you go.
That was wicked.
There we go. That's a good stroke. Lovely putt,
There we
mate.
go.
Lovely putt.
Take that one.
Beautiful.
That's what we want.
That's what we want, baby.
I just blocked it. That's okay though.
Oh, yeah, it probably
Bounced up there anyway.
Yeah, right up.
Sorry to take you away from the video super quickly, everyone. I just need to give a huge shout out to Scott Pack, my employer. Without their help and support, the series would not be possible. Just a quick breakdown on Scott Pack. What we do is working capital solutions for business owners. We do invoice finance, which is all about speeding up payment terms. We do unsecured business loans of up to $200,000. We also do export finance, which is all about supporting businesses exporting outside of New Zealand. So thanks very much for watching the video. Let's get back into it. It's a good part, lovely part.
Sort of the line,
Wow,
eh?
and it even came back, didn't it? That looks really nice, mate.
Come around, baby.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Too big?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
no way. What about emotions? How do emotions, can they affect a deal quite significantly? Because we just talked about people, you know, having a business for 20 years and then they have to try to sell it.
Yeah, that definitely can. And I mean,
I'll
the
let you
thing,
go first, mate.
the thing with emotions is that that's a part of the reason that we get in there.
Yep.
As you can imagine, you know, if you had a sale happening between like an emotional vendor and a buyer, first-time buyer, there's like a lot of
There's a lot happening there.
A lot of inexperience around the sale process, like a lot of emotions on probably both sides.
Yep.
So you're gonna probably see some issues arise. That's why, you know, if we're dealing with a vendor who's, you know, really emotional, it's a big move for them. You know, that's completely separate to what the purchase is going through.
Yes.
So we're sort of managing them as two separate sort of parts of the transaction.
But I mean, you touched on that before when you talked about Kakapo and sort of the unique value of it, right? How you look at the emotional attachment to it all, you don't just make it a transaction.
Yeah, it doesn't need too much. That's a good part, he's done it. That's my guy.
Is that okay there?
Yeah, it's all good.
Sweet, so we can have a shot?
It's kind of open around there.
Cool. How do you know when a business is ready for sale? Yes.
The answer to the question really is you want to have it at a point where all your accounts are prepared in a nice, clean fashion. It's well organised.
Yes.
You want to get across anything that you feel like could be a sort of an obstruction to buying it.
Okay.
So with any business, there's always things where you can kind of pick out and say, look, these are going to be the points of hesitancy for buyers. Mm-hmm. So if you have a buyer asking a question on a business, that's, you know, a relevant question that should be answered and you can't give a clear explanation, chances are you're probably going to lose them right there.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to create doubt around other parts of the business.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, that's why it sort of comes back to when I said the first thing to do when starting, you know, thinking about selling is doing it well in advance.
Yep.
And the reason being is that, you know, not everyone does have these things organised, and, you know, someone might have been, you know, trading for 10, 20 years and they've just got comfortable in their ways.
Yes.
So just a matter of changing from an old accounting system to putting it into Xero and having it all modernised in that capacity, that could easily add, you know, 20% to the value of a business, because you're going to have so much more trust around like the numbers. Mm-hmm. It's clearly presented. You got live reporting. That you know, it's more modern. Everyone's using Xero, so you've got all these benefits, and that's just like a new software. So things like that. There's lots of little bits and pieces, and, you know, happy to have a chat to anyone ever thinking about selling, because I know in so many ways that just simple things that people don't often think of.
Yep.
And just good to be aware of before you are selling.
Yes.
It's looking crisp, mate.
I think it's a bit short.
No, I think that'll be on it. It's just short of it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Beautiful.
That's a good putt.
Oh, there we go.
Yes!